Right, welcome back into studio. Let's go to one of our headline stories we're looking at for you. Today, October 5, is World Teachers Day. Now, every year on World Teachers Day, educators are celebrated for the central role they play in providing children everywhere in the world with quality education. The new Global Education Goal, SDG 4, which is at the heart of Education 2030 agenda, calls for inclusive and equitable quality education and the promotion of lifelong learning opportunities for all. The UNESCO Institute for Statistics further estimates that countries will need to recruit at least 12.5 million primary teachers to achieve the goal of universal primary education by 2020. Over 4 million new lower secondary teacher positions also need to be created to achieve universal lower secondary education by 2020. Now, governments are urged to, quote, redouble efforts to engage in dialogue with the teachers and their organizations and intensify efforts to provide sufficient, qualified, well-deployed, motivated and supported teachers to every school, in every community, and for every child. So it is in accordance with today being World Teachers Day, and it's been celebrated globally. And here in Ghana, we are told that it's been celebrated in the it's been marked in Tamale in the northern region. So our reporters are there. Will bring you details of what transpires there. We'll bring you details of what is being said there at Tamale, where we are launching, or Ghana is celebrating the World Teachers Day, which falls today. But to talk about teachers in general, how they are celebrating the day, what their challenges are, what are some of the victories or achievements they've made over the years, is Awulai Adokwe Ayikwe. Awulai Adokwe Ayikwe. Yeah, he is with. He's here to help us understand how they've managed to succeed over these years and what they intend to do going forward. And we want to say thank you very much and congratulations. I'm sure is in order.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
How are you celebrating this year's World Teachers Day? Is there a theme, and what is this year's theme?
Yeah, there is a theme that is empowering teachers and then building sustainable societies. That is the theme for this year's celebration. And government, there was a committee that the Deputy Minister, Honorable Alex Treme, was in charge. And this year, they are not only going to award teachers, but it is now National Schools and Teachers Award. So they are going to award schools as well. And I think there are about 412 that will be awarded at the national level. And we have about 316 at the regional and about 3,121 at the various district levels that are going to receive awards today.
Why the addition of schools to the day, and why do we need to make it World Teachers and Schools Day?
Now, it is not just about, I think this is a new thing that the government brought, and it is in the right direction, because formerly they were only awarding teachers. But now they said there's a need for the whole school management to be looked at. So you could see that some schools are being managed very well. So the committee decided to add schools to it, so that from the basic school to the secondary schools, they will look at some schools that are performing well, and they will also be awarded as well. So I think it's in the right direction.
Okay. Now, what are some of the major achievements for which reason you would say that teachers need to be celebrated?
Now, teachers are the backbone of every economy. Now, when you look at the developed world, all those nations that have developed, they developed through education. And without teachers, we cannot sustain our education. That is why every government ought to look at our educational sector very, very well and make sure teachers are really encouraged and motivated to do the work that they are supposed to do.
And when you talk about encouragement, we know that there are clear challenges, for which reason not only encouragement can solve some of your major challenges. What are some of the challenges you have penned down as one that has hindered the achievement of your goal?
First of all, our policy on education is not static. It's been shifting here and there. Every government comes in and then bring in a new policy. You move from 3-year secondary education, went to 4-year. We've got to bring it back to 3 years, change of name, and a whole lot. I think all these things ought to be looked at, so that the ordinary teacher on the ground somewhere will also be considered because when it happens like this, teachers are just trying to comply with whatever is going on. But it is not a good thing. There is the need for us to have a comprehensive educational policy that every government will follow. It shouldn't change. If it ought to change, we've got to look at it holistically and make sure we enhance it. But it shouldn't be this back and forth, back and forth. I think that is one thing that is really not helping in the system.
What is the future like for not only the Ghanaian teacher, but for teachers in general? What are your future projections?
Now, we are hoping that it will get to a time where all Ghanaian children will be in school and they will have teachers to teach them as well. Now, you could say that in most of our schools, a teacher is handling about 80 pupils in a class, and definitely it will not be effective. Although the teacher will be doing his part, but definitely I don't think finding or having 80 pupils in a class, you'll be able to really do what you want to do. So I think there is a need for us to...
How would you want to... I mean, there are several people who think that the teaching profession is not lucrative. And lucrative in this sense, we are not saying it's like a gold mine, everybody should rush in there. But what is it about teaching that you would want to say would draw people to come in and be part of the profession? Because it's a profession people are interested in, but because they say it doesn't pay.
Yes, in some countries it pays.
Okay.
When you go to Canada, Germany, teaching pays, and people even struggle to become teachers. Wow. But you see that motivation that you teach somebody, after some years you see the person has become somebody in future. I think that one alone is a blessing. It's a blessing to you. So I think people should be happy to train somebody that one day that person will become somebody somewhere and you can say that, yeah, this person passed through me. So definitely teaching, I will say, it's a noble profession and it's good.
And my final question would be, clearly everybody who can understand both of us and everybody who is somebody, quote unquote, has gone through the hands of a teacher,
definitely,
one way or the other.
Definitely.
Now, would you say that the current crop of pupils and students we have are getting the right kind of tuition they need?
Definitely not. If you are comparing it to some other developed countries and even the developing world, definitely they are not getting it, because in Ghana, most of the teachers are doing what we call rote learning. We are just learning to pass examination, to make sure the children pass examinations, and that is all that we are doing. The science equipments are not there, the teaching learning materials are not there, the classrooms are not there. Although we want all children to go to school because of FQ, but a large class with one teacher, and I think supervision is also a problem. So there is the need for us to really do well for the Ghanaian pupil or student, definitely, because they are not getting the best out of our educational system.
What do you think we can do about our current education? How can we change it? Do we make it more practical, or we stay with the current system, or we just...
There is the need for us to make it more practical, because that is how it's supposed to be. So that whatever talent that the pupil or student is having, that is what you work on, so that that person will grow and become somebody. Nobody ought to be neglected based on examination that he or she failed.
Okay.
Definitely not.
I actually said that was my last question, but before you take leave of us, let me bring this to your attention. I'm sure you probably even know already that government has released a total of 4.5 million cedis to clear the allowance arrears it owed the various teacher unions in the country. Now, in a statement, the Minister of Education, Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman, said the money has been paid to the Ghana Education Service for onward payment to the various teacher groups or teachers in the country. According to the statement, the amount covers staff car maintenance allowance, motorbike maintenance allowance, bicycle maintenance allowance, as well as allowances for transfer grants, committee of council members, guide allowance, and overtime allowances. Clearly, this is some good news for you and your colleagues. Yeah?
No, it is good, but not too good. I think I'm a member of the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, their communication director, and you could say that we wrote to the Labour Commission and all the stakeholders that we want to embark on a strike on the 7th. And then government ought to call us with NAGRAT. And then they said we should give them up to 10th of October. And so they brought the 4.5 million. But the 4.5 million only covers just two aspects. That is the transfer grants and some vehicle maintenance allowance, TNT, and those things. And this thing has elapsed for about 2 years now. They were supposed to be paid in, I think not even 2 years, 2011. From 2011, none of those things have been paid. So it is now that they've released the money, although we were told this money was supposed to be released in April. So if we are not threatened that we are going on strike, 4.5 million wouldn't have been received. But I think government owes every Ghanaian teacher who started teaching in 2010, as we speak now.
Everyone that started teaching in 2010?
Yes, government owes that teacher. That is incremental credit for 2011, 2012, and some part of 2013. And that one is more than 100 million Ghana cedis. And we are still waiting on the 10th to see whatever will happen. And I think this is one thing that really demotivates the teacher. If you are looking at all the public sector workers, government ought to really treat teachers very well. They shouldn't wait for us to say that we are going to put our tools down before they do what they are supposed to do, because I don't know why we ought to wait from 2011 up to 2015 before you release transfer grants, and at the same time you wait for all the incremental credit arrears to pile up. I think it's never happened before. Every year since time immemorial it is being paid. So we don't know why government waited from 2011 and the thing has piled up, and now it has become very huge, and the teachers also want their money. So today being Teachers' Day and we celebrating teachers, I'll urge the government that on the 10th when we meet, we should receive something positive, because this money, 4.5, only those who are from principal superintendent upward and they have cars are going to enjoy it. But the ordinary teacher on the ground is waiting for his incremental credit arrears.
All right. We thank you very much, Awule Adokwe Ayikwe. He is a member of the Concerned Teachers Association and also a teacher himself, and Deputy Communications Director for the coalition. Communications Director, actually. Communications Director. Thank you very much for speaking with us, and then congratulations on today being the World Teachers' Day. We wish you well and hope that at least... And
I also wish all teachers well and all my teachers very well. I thank them.
All right. Thank you once again.